Welcome to the American Nomad Podcast, hosted by the legend himself, or as I refer to him, the legend in his own mind, Rav Holly.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Friday show. I am Rav Holly, the American Nomad. Welcome to the Friday show. We're getting ready for the weekend. Looks like we got one person in the room, hopefully. Hopefully this thing is working right. Hopefully we got some sound today. We really spent a good bit of time yesterday trying to really iron this thing out. So when I go live, I have some sound. So if I don't have sound today, I may have a nervous breakdown. So if anybody's watching, it shows we have one viewer in the room. If anybody's watching, please let me know. Please let me know that we have some sound. And without further ado, let's get this show started. What do you say? Hey, Random Nomad, can you hear me? Please tell me you hear me, buddy. On the B camera over here. I've been changing it up a little bit. Yesterday, I spent all day yesterday tweaking some stuff, changing some stuff around. So hopefully things are working out. Things are looking. You can't hear me? Please tell me you can't. Oh my God, are you serious? You can't hear me? Everything's working on my end here, so I have no idea why there's no sound. Let me try one thing here. Any sound now? Oh, you hear me, Random Nomad? Little quiet, but I can hear you. I've got my mic cranked, so I don't know why it would be quiet. Give me 2 seconds here. It's got to be something in my sound settings. I literally sat here for an hour working. Yeah, it shows everything working great here on my end. I literally sat here for an hour tweaking the sound, getting it just right to start the show. And you guys can barely hear me. Let's go to the full screen. Oh, you hear me loud and clear now? You guys hear me loud and clear? Because I just turned the volume like through the roof. It's like all the way up. There's a time delay on the live feed, Random Nomad. It's the streaming deal. So Matilda, you still barely hear me? How about you, Random Nomad? Can you hear me okay? Yeah, I've got everything. Everything's set. You have your volume full blast, but you barely hear me. Hey, Amy, how are you? Hi, Amy Preston. Good to see you. My only, oh, you hear me fine? As long as my volume is up, no echo. Okay, I've got my volume like through the roof here, so I don't know why. Like my mic is like as loud as it'll go. How about now? Can you guys hear me better now? I'm like messing with things here. If the volume gets louder, please let me know, Matilda. Because I've just cranked everything to as high as it'll go pretty much. I'm getting to the point where if I can't get this volume thing, if I can't get this sound thing, I'm either going to sell this mixer and try to get something else, or I'm not going to do live broadcast anymore. I've come to my wit's end. I spent 20 hours yesterday. I was here from early morning till 7 o'clock this morning working on this sound thing, so it would be good today. And unfortunately, it's screwed up again, I guess. I look sunburned. Yeah, I'm using the new green screen, so it's not perfect. It's not quite as good a quality as not using the green screen. You hear me awesome, Random Nomad? That's weird. How about you, Amy Preston? Can you hear me okay? Matilda, you can barely hear me, though. Yeah, I've got my mixer like turned up as loud as I can go on the volume for my mic, so I can't really go any louder. So I'm not sure what the deal is. Amy Preston, you can hear me? Okay, good. That's good. Oh, you hear me loud and clear, Random Nomad? So Matilda, it's just you, huh? And you're the closest to me, Matilda. You should be able to hear me the best. Anyway, welcome to the Friday show. Hopefully most of you guys can hear me okay. I'm not kidding you. I spent all day yesterday. I'm working on a green screen today, tweaking this thing. I spent all night last night messing with this mixer and really delving into it and trying to learn this mixer. So I wouldn't have any problem today when I went live. I spent all night just messing with this mixer, trying to really hone it down and really learn everything there is to learn about it. Random Nomad says, so I just saw Facebook recommending me to watch a video about the cuties. Is that bad? Man, I don't know. I'm not going to watch it. It's a little bit... there's like I said in the last podcast, it's a French film. It's not an American film, but just the way that Netflix marketed the film poster was pretty controversial in my opinion. Be right back. Okay, buddy, no problem. Hey, Trav, man, thank you, buddy. You can hear me just fine. Great. Thank you, buddy. Thank you for the super chat, man. I totally appreciate it. I really appreciate it, I should say. Driving home. I'm lurking in the background. I hear you with my volume maxed out. So you guys can barely hear me again. I don't even know what else to do. I thought I had everything set perfect. I mean, I'm supposed to be able to listen in my headphones and hear exactly what you guys hear. And I'm loud and clear. Everything is perfect here on my end. Let me try this. Hold on. Okay, now let me know if you hear me any better. I just turned up. Shows I'm peaking now in the software, which is something you don't want to happen. I think you got a dud mixer. I think you may be right, Amy Preston. Oh, that's better? Okay. That's good to know because the levels are maxed out in the software where they're not supposed to be, where it's going into the red. But if you guys can hear me better, then we'll leave it there. That lets me know exactly where that needs to be. It's kind of crazy. So you can hear me better now, Matilda? Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, I can't really show you. You have a sound bar, and there's a green that is where your sound's supposed to be, and then there's a yellow that means it's getting into where it could be peaking, and then there's a red. So now it's showing in the software that my sound levels are peaking, which is not supposed to be good. But if you guys can hear me okay, then we'll leave it right there, and it's good to know. I'll have to try to remember that. Anyway, what do you guys think of the new background? We're actually running on a green screen today. I'm not sunburned, but I do look sunburned in this new setup I got here. It's kind of weird. Is everybody ready for the weekend? So anyway, I don't know how many of you guys are Joe Rogan fans. I've been listening to Joe's podcast. I was actually on his JoeRogan.net. He used to have a very popular web forum that was attached to his website. I don't even know if it's still there anymore. But I was on his forum back around 2001, I guess, way back in the day. And so I've been keeping up with Joe for a long time. Back even before he was the Fear Factor guy, when everybody knew him as the Fear Factor guy. Well, that's the problem with trying to set this different screen, guys. Give me a second. I've got that cheer set up on a hotkey, so every time I touch the key on to try to zoom in this chat, it makes that noise. So are you still buffering over there, Random Nomad? Or are you good? I turned up the quality a little bit, so if a bunch of people are buffering on their phone, I might have to turn it down a little bit. Back to 720p. Anyway, back to the Joe Rogan experience. For those of us that I don't keep up with a lot of podcasts. I love podcasts, but I just don't have time anymore. But Joe's podcast, I do watch. Welcome back, Random Nomad. Joe's podcast, I do watch that podcast on YouTube. And I don't really listen to it. I watch it, and or I'll turn it on and listen to it with it streaming on YouTube. And a few months back, Joe announced that he would be exclusively moving his podcast to Spotify from YouTube. And for those of us that are on YouTube, I've been on YouTube since 2006. And for those of us that have been on YouTube, a lot of us are very concerned about the way the direction YouTube is going, which YouTube is going the same direction as all these other social media platforms, with their total social justice warrior, their SJW, where they're pushing everything is this agenda-driven SJW, that you have to agree with everything on the left, and if you're on the right, then they will punish you and not show your videos. And so when Joe announced that he was going to Spotify, a lot of his fan base, including myself, we all celebrated to the fact that we thought that signaled that that Joe was tired of being censored on YouTube and being chastised, which YouTube does continuously. Like, you never know if your videos are going to be monetized or if they're not going to be monetized. My last video was not monetized. I talked about the cuties thing, but that was enough to get it demonetized originally. So you have to put in for review for them to review it. And then once they review it, if there's nothing in there that's too controversial or goes against their guidelines, then they'll let it be monetized where the video will actually make money. But the first 24 hours of a video is the key time for that video. So if it's 24 hours and it's up and it's not monetized, by the time it becomes monetized, the money-making prospect is pretty much gone. So when we heard that Joe was going to Spotify, we felt like, I know I did, I felt like it was, Spotify like swooping in to save Joe from this, from YouTube that's being way too politically driven nowadays with their CEO, and being that it's based in Silicon Valley like all these other social media platforms. YouTube is the same way. Now, I used to really love YouTube. You see I'm wearing my YouTube hat here today, my cap. I got this cap like in 2014. When was it? 2013, 2014, when I went out to the YouTube space here in LA, and I went through their creator. They had this creator program. What was it called? I can't remember it. I actually got a certificate. It was a creator education thing, and I got this hat, and I got some stickers, and a few other different things for going through their creator program. And I don't even think they offer that anymore. Will Spotify pay you too for podcasts? Yes, they will. But they don't pay like YouTube. YouTube still is probably the best monetized, but they did pay Joe Rogan an exclusivity contract of $100 million. From rumor has it was $100 million. So that's why Joe is taking his show over to Spotify, which is, I don't think as far as podcasting is going to be near as popular as YouTube. So it's going to be interesting to see how much of his audience is moving over to Spotify if everybody follows him over there, because I don't know. I downloaded the app, but I'm not real familiar with Spotify. I never use Spotify. So it will be interesting to see how popular it is on Spotify, if it still stays as popular as it's always been. But I know that I celebrated the simple fact that it felt like Joe was going to be able to go be himself and not have to worry about being chastised by these social media, these SJW social media platforms, that he could just go and do his show and not have to worry about, all the things that you have to worry about with YouTube. You continuously, if you watch Joe's show, all the time, he'll ask Jamie, he'll go, "Hey, Jamie, pull that up." And then as soon as he says, "Hey, Jamie, pull that up," he'll go, "Oh, wait a minute. We can't play that." Right. And then he'll tell the guests, "Oh, I'm sorry. We can't play that, or we'll get taken off YouTube." So those are mostly copyright things, like if you pull up, like say Jimi Hendrix or something, Little Wing or Voodoo Child or something. If you play copyrighted music, your video is automatically going to be taken by the music holder, whoever holds the copyright to that music. I did a podcast 3 or 4 episodes ago where I played like the little tune from The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, the old Clint Eastwood movie from back in the 60s or the 70s. I didn't even finish that podcast, and the video had already been demonetized for me and monetized for the studio that owns the rights to that music. Even though I just used a little tiny clip, I didn't even play the whole song. It automatically, all the money now goes to the owner of the song, which it's okay. I mean, if it's copyrighted music, you shouldn't be using copyrighted music. So, being an artist myself, I don't like people stealing my art, and so I understand that. It is what it is. We've all, as YouTubers, had to adjust to that. But as far as say for instance, like controversial subjects like Gavin McInnes, who started Vice News. He started Vice Magazine, Gavin McInnes, but now he's known as this Proud Boy figure, or this far right Proud Boy type guy who actually started Vice Magazine and Vice News. He was one of the co-founders, but now he's like everything that Vice News stands against. It's really kind of weird, but that's the dichotomy we find ourselves these days. So Vice News did an article about Joe Rogan, and they basically called him a homophobe and transphobic, which I probably shouldn't use those words or this video will get demonetized, but it is what it is. So come to find out, Motherboard, who was the source for the Vice News article, Motherboard did an article about Spotify, and Spotify has had 10 different meetings with their employees over Joe Rogan, the controversy of Joe Rogan coming over to Spotify. A lot of these SJW employees that they have, these far liberal uber liberal employees that they have, they feel threatened by Joe Rogan because they say he is a transphobe, and which is very alarming. And the big controversy is there's several of Joe Rogan's podcasts episodes that are missing from the catalog on Spotify. Alex Jones, Gavin McGinnis, and 2 or 3 other controversial, right-wing controversial, I guess what most leftists would consider controversial, that are not being added to the catalog. So Joe had said when he was moving his podcast, before he moved it, that it was going to be business as usual and that it was just a licensing deal and nothing was going to change. He was still going to do everything that he did it just the way he did it. Unfortunately, that doesn't look like it's going to be the case. It looks like, unfortunately, Spotify is not a home for free speech. It's not going to be a save-all grace for people who just want to speak their mind. It's just as bad, if not worse, than YouTube. So that's a big disappointment, because even like myself, and I know other people that lean more politically right these days, we're all looking for a free speech platform where we can produce these videos and we don't have to worry so much about being politically correct in what we say. And I was looking at possibly doing this podcast if, Spotify grows in their video podcast. I was looking at possibly moving this podcast over to Spotify from YouTube. As much as I used to love YouTube, with the way they are so politically biased these days, my love infatuation with YouTube has waned a lot from what it used to be. Hey, Christina Jones, when is your Nomad news coming out? People have been asking me that, Christina, for about 6 months. I had a weird experience this year at RTR with everything, and I was very passionate about Nomad News, and after RTR this last year, not as passionate. But I do want to get back to doing the Nomad News. I still watch Nomads. I was watching Jared Toshi yesterday. He is having a live stream, so there are several Nomads I still keep up with. I'm just not as with everything else that's going on. I don't keep up with it as much as I used to. And to do a news program on Nomads, you have to sit there 2 or 3 hours a day watching videos from different Nomads. So I've not been doing that anymore. And so it makes it hard to put a news program together. But there's still a few of them I'm keeping up with, like Dave 2D. I watch Dave, Will Prowse, who does all the, everybody knows him for all of his solar information. Jared Toshi, Tashi. I'd say Toshi. I think it's Tashi. I don't know if you know who he is. There's still several that I watch, but to get back into doing Nomad News, I really have to get embedded back into watching the van life community. And I got a bad taste in my mouth, kind of jumped the shark at RTR this year. And so all I watch as far as Nomads now is sailboats. I was watching sailboats before I was watching van life, and now I'm back to watching people living on sailboats again. So those are the only Nomads that I could actually report on and feel like I was doing justice to the video. He's in a Jeep now. Jared Toshi's in a Jeep. Yeah, I think I heard him saying something about he was going to get a roof tent, but I heard that he was building a Ghost 3 van as well. Let's see. Matilda said, I heard today on another channel that super chats take 30% of the money. I would rather PayPal to you as a friend. Sending money to you, get 100%. Need email to send. Okay, Matilda. Yes, I will definitely. My PayPal link is in the description of the video, but I will definitely I'll get you guys the PayPal link. That is true. They do. YouTube takes 30% of any money that is donated through Super Chat. PayPal, on the other hand, you get all of the money. For some of you know that Random Nomad has been almost donating, from anywhere from $10 to $35 almost every episode, which is insane. And I so appreciate that, Random Nomad. And Travman hit me with a $2 super chat today. I so appreciate that. Let me see here if I can start this without the volume kicking in. Let's see. And here it is. So, Matilda, I'm going to drop the link to the PayPal for you guys. I'm just going to pop it into the chat right now. So there's a PayPal link if you want to direct PayPal. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Looks like we got 8 viewers. Let's see how many. 2 thumbs up. If you guys please hit that thumbs up. It doesn't pay anything, but it helps the video do better in the YouTube algorithm. If you don't forget to hit that thumbs up, I truly really appreciate it. Matilda said, used to love Nomad News. Yeah, so many people love Nomad News. When I was at RTR this last year, like I had people walk up to me and they didn't want to talk to me. They didn't want to meet me. They didn't want to have anything to say to me except when is another episode of Nomad News coming out. I had one guy come across RTR and he was yelling, Rav, Rav. And I looked and I'm like, hey, what's up? And I thought he like wanted to come look at my Snap-on truck or something. And he's like, when is Nomad News coming out again? I was like, oh man, someday, hopefully. But, yeah, Matilda. So Jared, yeah, he's in a Jeep now, I guess. He got an apartment, I guess in Portland, I believe. A lot of the nomads are settling down and getting, you know, a lot of the, I'm going to be honest with you. It gets under my skin a little bit. All of these, super uber, popular YouTube nomads that, you know, they jump into the van life, you know, they jump into the van life thing and they're just money, make money off of it. And then they're out. I mean, there's tons of them. They build up this huge YouTube audience. And then as soon as they get this YouTube audience, you know, they get all these subscribers, they're done. They're out. And then they keep up their YouTube thing. But it's, you know, it's, I mean, I'm guilty of it as well. But I still live in my van, I slept in my van last night. You know what I mean? I have this office here, which is, I don't know, this office is, I think it's like a 10 by 12 office. It's pretty small, but, you know, I was working all night, but at like 6 o'clock this morning, 6 or 7 this morning, I went out and got in my van and drove down the street and parked and put my, windows coverings up and crashed. The funny thing is you guys don't know this. I've been actually staying in Bertha since the guy said he was going to buy it, and I can't get the title to it because I guess the state of California lost the title to it. But I've been staying in Bertha every night and just have my Snap-on truck parked here at work. Yes, he has an office now too. Yeah, I haven't really kept up with him that much. Every now and then I'll get a notification, Matilda, for his live stream, Jared's, and then I'll jump on and watch his live stream a little bit. I know he didn't he have an office in, like, I guess he has friends that has a shop there in Portland. So then they were letting him have an office there or something. And so now he's got an apartment and, no title. Yeah. So I had to get the title changed, Christina, for Bertha, and the titles never showed up. I had it sold. I had a person, actually a Russian guy that was going to buy it. And I had to get the title changed because I was never going to title Bertha in California. And then when it got towed, for me to get it out of tow, I had to get the title changed. I will never ever register another vehicle. If I never leave California, I will never register another vehicle in California, ever. Never. I'm done with that. It's so funny because in California, they literally have these tattletale laws where if you live in California and you park your vehicle, but you have it registered out of state in another state, your neighbors can tell on you and they'll get a reward for telling on you that you live in California, but you have your vehicle registered out of state. It's because they're Nazis in California about registration. You couldn't pay me enough. I would burn a vehicle. I would burn it before I would register it in California. So I had Bertha for 5 years and I never registered. I never registered it in California. And I had to get the title changed, but I'm not registering it. As soon as I get the title, if it doesn't sell, I'm taking it to Arizona and I'll register it in Arizona. I'll never register another vehicle in California. California can go fuck themselves. Thank you so much, Matilda. I appreciate that so much. You and Random Nomad, you guys, and Trav, man, you guys make this make it all worthwhile to do it. I really appreciate it. It gives me hope. I see hope at the light at the end of the tunnel. Amy Preston says, can't the state electronically duplicate the title? I'm sure they can, Amy. I've just got to get a hold of them, but I'm pretty sure what I'm going to have to do is go down to the DMV. And if you've never been to the California DMV, there's no other kind of hell like that. The last time that I had to go to the DMV to get the title changed, to get Bertha out of the impound, I got there at 6 o'clock in the morning, and the line, I took pictures of it. The line wrapped all the way around the building out into the parking lot. I was at the Compton DMV. There was probably, gosh, I can't remember. I got there, okay, I do remember, because I got there at 6:10 a.m. They told me to get there at 6, and I was running a little bit late, so I walked up there and got my number. It was 6:08 a.m. And by the time I got there at 6:08 a.m. in the morning, I was number 74. I was 74 in line. That means there was 74 people in front of me by 6:08. And I was one of the first ones there. So the numbers go up to like 300 or 400, I think. And but if you don't get, so people that got there like at say 8:30 or 9 o'clock, they basically got turned away. They told them there was no other numbers left, because they only take enough numbers to get you in by the time you get in at 5 o'clock. It's a disaster. The last time I had to do my driver's license, I've lived in California for, I probably shouldn't have indulged this information on YouTube, but I have lived in California for, gosh, it's 2006, April 2006. I came out here for the first time for a job interview, and then I ended up coming back right after, guys, first of the year. I got all moved out here, which is first of 2007, but I came in April 2006. And I've lived out here this whole time. I've never, ever had a California driver's license. I still have my Texas driver's license. The reason that I have my Texas driver's license is because I don't want to deal with all the bull crap that you have to deal with at the California DMV. The less I have to go to the California DMV, the better my life is. When I did my Snap-on truck, I bought it in Arizona. I bought it down in Sierra Vista, Arizona. I registered it right there in Sierra Vista, Arizona. It took 15 minutes. Me and the owner, the guy I bought it from, I gave him cash for the truck. He goes, hey, let's go get the title and everything changed. And I was like, okay. And so we went down to the Arizona DMV office. We walked in there, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, I can't believe he wants to go do this right now. This is going to take a while. And walked right in there. I have an address in Arizona, and we literally changed the paperwork, changed the title. It took 15 minutes. I was out of there and on the road back to California. If you do that in California, it's an all-day process. And the last time I had to do my driver's license, which is still in Texas, I've never had a California driver's license. The only driver's license I've ever had is Texas. I have an ID card. I have a state ID card for California, but that's not a driver's license. So in Texas, when your driver's license expires, even though it expires, you have up to 2 years to renew it. If you don't renew it 2 years after it expires, you have to take the whole driving test and everything all over again. But if you renew it within 2 years, you can just renew your driver's license. So it expires on your birthday. So the last time that I went to Texas, that was the main goal of going to Texas, was to renew my driver's license. It was so funny because Bertha actually overheated in Phoenix, right outside of Phoenix, because the thermostat got stopped up because there was a bunch of trash in the heat exchanger for the heater, because I never used the heater in California. So, but when I was going to Arizona, when I got to Arizona, it got cold. And so I turned the heater on, and all this trash, I guess, that was built up in the heater core got flushed or moved into the thermostat and stuff. Anyway, Bertha overheated. I ended up having to pull the thermostat out and drive on to Texas, but I didn't think I was going to make it. And it was my last day to renew my driver's license because it had been expired for 2 years. And I ended up making it. I made it to El Paso. I pulled into El Paso about 5 a.m. in the morning into the Walmart where they had the mass shooting, like, I don't know, what is it, a year ago now? It was that Walmart that I pulled into and spent the night. I took a picture of it. I pulled in like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And then I got up by like 10:30 a.m. and I was at the DMV by 11 a.m. there in El Paso. And this was way before COVID. We're talking a couple of years ago. And I walked right into the DMV. There was nobody in there but me. I walked right up there and the girl's like, "Oh my God, you just barely made it." They're like, "Oh, happy birthday." And I said, "Would you guys believe that I drove all the way from Los Angeles to El Paso to renew my driver's license?" And they were all taken aback by that. They couldn't believe it. Let's see. Back to the room. Matilda says, "My brother always gets hassled about their Arizona plates here in California. They both own homes in Arizona as well, but California wants their money. It's worth paying for membership to AAA to avoid the DMV." Yes, that's what I'm saying, Matilda. And if you live here in California, you know how many plates are from out of state. When you pull up to a red light, you're probably, if you're at a red light and let's say that there's 20 cars around you, about out of those 20 cars, just a little over half of them are going to have California plates. The rest of them are all from out of state. And the reason that is because California is such a cluster when it comes to registration. People don't want to register their vehicles in California if they can keep from it. So people that move here from out of state never change their tags because they don't want to have to deal with the California DMV and all the fees and everything that they charge you. Matilda says, "I bought a van in New Jersey and had to get it registered in California. Went to AAA and it's easy peasy." Well, you know, I had AAA. How does that work? Are you talking about the AAA for like AAA tow? I had AAA. I didn't know you could register through AAA. Christina Jones says, "What that when you took that woman with you that was your friend at the time?" Wait a minute. I'm confused, Christina Jones. When you took that woman with you that was your friend at the time. I don't remember, Christina Jones. I don't remember taking a woman. Are you talking about to Texas? I didn't take a woman to Texas with me. I was solo. Now, I used to, when I first started my vlogs, I actually had a girlfriend, Casey, at the time. So we used to travel around in Bertha. Yeah. So I did. Yeah, she was in Texas. She's from California, but yeah, that's my friend. She moved to Austin. You're talking about Brittany. Yeah, I hung out with Brittany when I got to Austin, but she actually lived in Austin. She used to live here in California. She's lived in Costa Mesa. When I met her, she lived in Costa Mesa, and then she moved to Austin. And then I went to Austin and visited her and hung out with her for like a week. And then I came back but now she's back in California. It's so funny. It's not funny. Her dad passed away. They used to live at Manor, I believe it's Manor, Texas, which is right south east of Austin. It's a little town. I was able to park there for like, 2 weeks in that side street to the Walmart while I hung out there in Austin. It was great. I mean, I actually moved around. I didn't park there completely every day, all day for 24 hours for 2 weeks, but I rotated in and out of that same parking lot. Matilda said they had to verify the VIN, but AAA can do most things DMV does. I'm going to have to get onto that, Matilda. Figure that one out. But hopefully I'll never have another vehicle registered in California. As a matter of fact, one of the things I'll love most about leaving California is the fact that I'll never have to register. I won't have to worry about anything ever dealing with the California DMV again. Do anybody know who Ben Shapiro is? I was just watching one of his. Yes, thank you, Matilda. Amy Preston said, thanks, good information. That is great information, Matilda. I will actually have to look into that as well. I didn't know AAA did anything with registration. Though, I don't know. I don't even know how. That's one of my downfalls as a human being is I'm a huge procrastinator when it comes to stuff like that. I hate dealing with that type of paperwork with DMV and all of that crap. I hate it. So I don't know that, I don't pay that much attention to it. So, but if AAA will do, that is great information if you don't have to deal with the California DMV. Now, I should say that the California DMV, basically what they want you to do is they want you to make an appointment. And I never make an appointment because I'm one of those guys that if I make an appointment, then something goes wrong and then I have to miss the appointment. So I always just walk in. And if you walk in, it could be all day. I remember when I bought my 66 Mustang, which was the last vehicle that I registered in California. I was all excited to register in California at that time. I flew to Arizona, to Phoenix, picked it up, drove it back to LA, took it down to the DMV like a couple of days after I bought it. And it had to be, since it was an out-of-state vehicle, it literally had to have an inspection before it could be registered in California. So you have to pull it up next to the DMV place, and they actually have an inspection officer that comes out that's with the Department of Motor Vehicles that actually looks over the vehicle to make sure that it can legally be registered in California. And this was a 1966 Mustang, so it had to go through this inspection. I got there at the DMV about 9 o'clock in the morning. Again, I did not make an appointment. And I ended up getting out of the DMV with my new license plates and registration and everything that I needed, and it passed the little DMV inspection. But I got out of there about 3:45 in the afternoon. So 9 o'clock to 3:45 in the afternoon, I spent there at the California DMV just to get this car inspected and get the title changed and everything over into my name. So when I bought Bertha, this is terrible to admit. When I bought Bertha, I drove Bertha for 5 years and never changed the title on it because I was not going to change the title to California. And then I ended up having to do it anyway. Christina Jones. Are the fires bad? Yeah, the fires are bad. I haven't really kept up with the fires this year, but yeah, I was just reading a little bit. There's a fire here. They were giving a new update on it. There's always fires. What did you miss, Random Nomad? Welcome back, buddy. You didn't miss anything. Whatever you missed, you can watch in the rebroadcast. Matilda says, went there today to pay my registration and got my 2021 tags. Wow, that is so funny. I'm sitting here on my soapbox about the DMV, and you just went today. And again, welcome back, Random Nomad. Yeah. Amy Preston says Rav is just ranting, Random Nomad. I guess I should change this. I should change the name of this podcast from American Nomad to Rav, ranting Rav. Hey, Eve, Brooklyn Bulldog. What are you doing, girl? Good to see you. Oh, you wasn't notified for the live? Yeah, that's a YouTube thing. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Depends on how much they like you. Yeah, on Rav's soapbox, good one, Amy Preston. That one's even better. Oh, you're home now. So your first little van life trip, how did it go? Matilda says my house, cars, yard, all covered in ashes. Really? Where exactly are you at in California, Matilda? Because here I'm in Fullerton, California, and over here the skies are just all beautiful blue, and Oh, you went to AAA. I'm sorry, Matilda. Yeah, that's right. You went to AAA. Okay, Christina. Oh, it's 11 p.m. there. Glad to catch you. Yeah, so good to see you, Christina. Haven't seen you on Facebook in a while. Random Nomad trying to find a seal for a BMW X5. Oh, good Lord, Random Nomad. Who's got? I hope that's not your BMW. You couldn't give me that vehicle. That's a problem everyday vehicle. Matilda says I never go to the DMV. You're smart. I have to figure out your ways there, Matilda, because I never want to go to the DMV ever again either. In California especially. Eve says, was great. 11 days, not long enough. Yep. It'll leave you really wanting more once you get out there. But then once you're out there for a year, you'll be like ready to find a spot to get parked and stay for a little bit. It's funny how that works. Well, you were notified, Matilda? Okay, that's good to hear. It's 9:46 where you're at, Random Nomad? Oh, it's for a customer? Okay, good. Well, if they're driving that BMW X5, that should keep you in business because that's a car that's going to need plenty of repairs. Random Nomad duct tape, my friend. You drive a Ford Focus. That's a very economical car. Gets great gas mileage. Oh, you're in the San Gabriel Valley, Matilda? It's so funny because California is always on fire this time of year. So it's gotten to the point where I don't even pay attention to it anymore. The only way I would pay attention to it is probably as if the California Highway Patrol came driving through the neighborhood telling me I had to evacuate. Oh, you're up by Azusa? Monrovia fire is near me. Wow, that's scary. Is that where the fire is? Because Azusa is just north of me. It's not that far from me. But I don't even see any. Now, probably last week, the sky was all ash covered or all smoke covered, but today it's clear. Random Nomad was a Toyota motorhome last year. Oh, they had a Toyota motorhome last year? Travman says you can do a lot of stuff here in Wisconsin at gas stations for your vehicle at registration. Yep. There's so many states that know how to do it. California's not one of them. I mean, you have to, I can't always throw in California into the bus. I mean, there's a ton of people in California. So they do, they do the best they can, I guess, but it's, it is what it is. But there's just so many people that it's hard for them to, and the other thing is there's such Nazis about everything you have to do for your vehicle out here. Just for an instance, I registered my Snap-on truck in Arizona for a year and changed the title, did everything on it. And if I remember right, I think the registration's $300 a year, like right at $300 a year. Because it's a commercial vehicle. I've never had it changed over to an RV. So it's, they still hit you with that commercial because you have to pay a weight, like a weight tax, whatever the vehicle can carry or whatever. And in California, it was going to be $1,200 to do it. Brooklyn Bulldog says they have DMV registration machines you can get. Yeah, I've seen those. I've actually seen those machines here and there, the little kiosk machines now. And they actually the DMV has them in there. So you can just renew your registration. But my deal is I never try to register in California. So anytime I go in there, it's like for a title change or something like that. Matilda says, yes, there's so many fires burning in California. Yeah, I haven't even paid any attention to any of them this year, Matilda. Hopefully the one that's up next to you doesn't get close to you, though. Stay safe. I can see the flames from my house, but I'm safe distance away. That's scary. I do know a couple of years ago, one of the fires, the one that hit Malibu, that burned down Miley Cyrus's home. What's Gerard Butler, the guy from 300, the movie 300, it burned down his home. Gunzo G, what's going on, brother? How's COVID near you? It's funny you say that. You asked that, Gunzo G, because here in Orange County, not so much with LA, but here in Orange County, I was just noticing and thinking to myself today when I went and I had to go get some dog food and stuff at the store. It is really everything seems is getting very much back to normal. The traffic is heavy. People are everywhere. People are still out. One thing I do want to say is, why are people wearing masks when they're jogging and they're riding their bicycle? I saw this girl riding her bicycle. There's nobody around her, but she's got a mask on. Paradise, California, actually, that whole town burned down. But that's Northern California. So there was fires going on in Northern California, and then there was fires going on here in Southern California. And it burned down the entire town of Paradise, California in Northern California. But then a Malibu fire hit Malibu here and burned down several multi-million-dollar mansions. We're not talking about just little houses. We're talking about 10, 12, 15,000 square foot mansions. And several of those was celebrities. Miley Cyrus, Gerard Butler, and there was 5 or 6 other celebrities that their houses burned. But the point I was going to make is, during that wildfire, I was reading a lot about it at the time because it was so crazy that it was burning these mansions down in Malibu. And the fire person, the fire inspector, the guy that was in charge of the fire information, was saying that this fire was moving 8 football fields a minute. So you couldn't outrun it. And that's what they said about the fire up in Northern California as well. Because I read a story that was pretty horrific about a family that actually got caught in the fire, and their 11-year-old son was burned to death, and the entire family got burnt. And it was a father, a mother, a daughter, and a son. And the daughter got 3rd-degree burns, but she survived, but the son didn't make it. He was the only one that didn't make it. I think maybe the mother didn't make it as well. I can't remember. It's been a minute since I read the story, but I read it when this was happening. And it was horrific, because what they said was, what the father said is that they were just, doing everyday normal house things, wasn't thinking too much about it. But they had seen the smoke from the fire, but they weren't paying that much attention to it, and they hadn't been told to evacuate, but they lived in like a rural house out on property by themselves. And the father said that he just happened to go to the kitchen and look out the kitchen window as he was rinsing out a dish, and looked up on the hill, and he could see fire coming over the top of the hill behind their house, which was about, I don't know, he said it was a ways away. It was probably a half a mile away, or close to a half a mile away, up on the ridge, coming over the top of the hill. But when he seen the fire, he knew it was coming towards them. So he ran and grabbed his wife and said, "Hey, grab some stuff. There's fire coming over the hill. Fire's coming this way. We got to get the hell out of here." So they started grabbing stuff to get out of there, and told the kids to grab their stuff. So the kids are in their room grabbing stuff, and they run out, and I can't remember exactly what happened, but they got in the car and drove to the end of the road and decided they needed to get their dog, or they needed to get their pets or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but they ran back to the house, and by the time they got to the house, the fire was up around the bottom of their house, the foundation of their house. And they got whatever it was, and then they took off running down the drive, this rural drive, to the road where their car was, and the fire caught them. The fire outran them. They were all sprinting from the house back to the car, and the fire actually caught them. That's how fast the fire was moving. It caught them running down the drive and burned the entire family. So that taught me, a lesson right there that, if there's a fire, you got to go. I would be one of those people myself that'd be like, oh yeah, it's not going to get me. It's just a fire. I'll just, I'll jump in my truck and leave if I need to. You don't realize, they don't tell you how fast those fires are moving. It's another, and there's another piece of information I'll give you that people don't know this. When you get on an airplane and that flight attendant, she gives you those directions with the mask. Put the mask on your face. All of those, we've all seen them. Everybody that's flown, everybody's probably seen at least 10 demonstrations, but nobody's actually sit there and paid attention to what the flight attendant's telling you to do. And 2 or 3 years ago, a airliner went into distress, and the people on the airliner thought it was going to crash. And this gentleman that was on the airliner, when he thought it was going to crash, he took a selfie of himself, because he thought it was going to be his last selfie. So he took a selfie of himself, and in that selfie was himself and all of the people that were right around him, because he was holding his phone out to take a selfie. And the thing that struck me, the thing that struck me about his selfie, and I made a comment and I posted it on my Facebook page at the time. The thing that struck me the oddest about his selfie was, that all these people thought they were going to die, of course. They thought this plane was crashing, was going down, but it actually didn't. They recovered it and it landed safely. But the thing that was so crazy about this selfie is every single person that was in the selfie were all wearing the mask wrong. None of them had the mask over their nose. The mask has to cover your nose and your mouth. And the information that they don't give you, that flight attendant doesn't give you, but she tells you, if you're traveling with small children, make sure you put your mask on first and then you put their mask on. But they never tell you the reason why. And the reason that is because if you're on an aircraft that depressurizes, if let's say you're on a jet airplane and you're at 30,000 feet and it depressurizes and those masks drop from the ceiling, you literally have 5 to 15, maybe 20 seconds to get that mask on, or you are going to be rendered unconscious. How many of you know that? I bet you not too many people know that. You're not going to make it. You're going to pass out. You don't have like a minute or 2 minutes to fumble with that mask and get it on. You literally have about 5 seconds to get that mask on. 10 seconds, 15 maybe, but if you go 20 seconds, you're going to be unconscious. So that's why they tell you that if those masks drop, to make sure you put yours on first and then put your kids on. Because if you don't put yours on first and you start trying to fumble and put your kid's mask on, you're going to pass out. Amy Preston says 16 seconds. Yeah, possibly 16. But you don't have long to get that mask on. It's a lot like, for those of you who don't know, it's a lot like a rear naked choke. You can put somebody out in about 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds with a rear naked choke. You can render them unconscious. I've done it more than one time. Used to be a video of me doing it. To a buddy of mine that volunteered for it when I was a bouncer at a bar in Long Beach. He didn't think I could do it. He didn't think it was real. He didn't think he would go out. So he volunteered and people videotaped it on their freaking cell phones. And this was several years ago. This is probably back about 2010. People were still filming on their cell phones. There used to be cell phone video of it, but he went out like that. He was out within 5 seconds. Yeah, Random Nomad, an hour does go fast. That it does. Joe P., we're just getting ready to wrap this up, buddy. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping in. Anyway, guys, that's 59 minutes and 52 seconds. Let's run back through. Let me thank everybody. Travman, thank you so much for the super chat. I do appreciate it so much. Matilda, I love you. Thank you so much for the PayPal. I haven't checked it yet, but I'll check it as soon as I get off here. Thank you so much for the PayPal donation, Matilda. I love you guys. Thank you so much for showing up. I want you to have a safe weekend. Random Nomad, you're the man. Matilda, love you. Amy Preston, thank you so much for stopping in. Amy, as usual, love to see you. Who else do we have? Christina, I think she's gone. She had to go to bed. Driving home, Lamont, thank you so much, buddy. One of my personal friends. I love you, Lamont. Van Life Lamont. Be sure to, if you haven't checked Lamont's YouTube channel, it's Driving Home. Check out his YouTube channel. He's a real nomad. Truck driver. He's a truck driver by trade, but he has a very nice little box truck that he built out himself that I saw at RTR this year. If you like real nomads, he's got a YouTube channel. Check out Driving Home Lamont's channel. Let's see. Who else do we have? Travman. I think I thanked you already. All right. Oh, Guns OG. Thank you so much for stopping in, Guns OG. Same here in the UK, and when they're in the car by themselves wearing a mask. Yeah, I see that a lot too, Guns OG. Sorry I missed your comment there. Thank you so much for stopping in, Guns OG. Thank you guys all so much for stopping in. Before we close this up, what do you guys think of the background? Do you like this background? Or I'm going to try to put up, when I do these changes, I know it's off-putting to some people and some people like it, but if you don't understand, this is a green screen. This picture is really not behind me. Does that make sense? I never understood how to do green screen, and I just learned it yesterday. So I changed it, and it makes it where I don't have to, it's just, I don't know. So if you like it, let me know. If you don't, if you like the lights on the wall better, just kind of let me know. I'm just kind of asking what you guys like better. If I go to, let me see, if I go to this screen, now you can see what it really looks like. So I have a green screen that's been cast by lights. If that makes sense. And then I have this other, that's a different picture that I have that I can use. Yeah, guys, please hit that thumbs up. I appreciate it so much if you'd hit the thumbs up. Even if you can't, if just being a viewer, I so appreciate that. And the thumbs up, that means the world to me. It will work great in your schoolie. Yeah, I'm still wanting to get that schoolie. I don't know if that's going to happen now that I wasn't able to sell Bertha right away, Joel P. We'll see what happens. I've got somebody else that's calling to buy Bertha, but I got to figure out this title thing. Anyway, guys, have a great weekend. Stay safe. Trav Man, let's see what he says. Could tell it was a green screen by your headphones. Between your headphones and the background, there's a bit of screen screech glitch. Yeah, you know what? I tried to, and like right here on the top of the monitor too. I think the reason that is, Trav Man, is I'm doing a poor man's green screen. People told me this wouldn't even work, but I actually made it work. I'm just using lights, those RGB lights that I got. So the last show from Wednesday, when you saw those orange lights on the wall, I'm using those lights, but I just turned them green. And everybody told me it wouldn't work. You couldn't use that. It wouldn't work. But it works good enough for this show. I don't want to have a green screen or paint the wall green or have that big felt backdrop. I don't want to have that. So I just decided I would try and see what I thought with the green lights. And I think it works good enough for green screen. I mostly want the green screen for gaming though. So I don't necessarily have to do the green screen for this show. I can actually just do the lights on the wall if that's what you guys prefer. But anyway, guys, you think it works great, Trav? I think I'm going to do a YouTube video on it because there's not a YouTube video talking about using RGB lights for a green screen. There's a million YouTube videos about how to do a green screen, and all of them you have to buy like one of those things off Amazon that, it's a big green thing that's like a 4x6 that you can put behind you, or you have to go get a backdrop, like a photography backdrop that's got like a green backdrop cloth. All of these different things. I don't have an office big enough for that stuff, so I don't want to do that. So that's why I just had this brainstorm yesterday, like, man, these freaking lights are pretty green and pretty bright. I wonder if it'll work as a green screen. And so that's what I did. And then I, went through today and then put a few different pictures up that could be behind me. So I don't know. I just, I want to, at some point, I actually want to get like a real cool flag. I have one, but it costs money, and right now money's tight. So, but I do want to do like there's a black and white American flag that I think will go with my settings, my thing here. And I may do that at some point. Travman, is Asian female DJ that uses green lights for green screen too. She's on YouTube. Really? Man. Let me know who that is, Travman, if you can. I'd like to see her green screen. Is she a gamer or what does she do? Because most of the green screeners are gamers, people that do gaming. You can email me, Travman, at ravholly@gmail.com. Let me know who she is. I'd love to see her setup. A YouTube creator friend of mine just used a green sheet. Yeah, that's exactly, a green sheet works. But my deal is I don't want to be setting up a sheet. I'm lazy. And plus this whole studio thing, like for the green screen, the whole camera's been moved over. You guys don't know this, but I've moved the camera over. It's usually over in this corner. And then it gives a little bit of depth to the wall, but there's not enough depth because this office isn't big enough. So that's why I decided maybe to go with a green screen, because this office really isn't big enough to have like a cool backdrop setting, if that makes sense. What does it do for gaming? Joel P., it's kind of hard to explain, but basically when you're doing your gaming, if you're streaming on like Twitch, you have it shows you as a person. People watch you gaming, but it shows you as a person. So usually you have this backdrop, but if you green screen it, it looks like you're part of the game. It just shows this, if that makes sense. And then where you see this flag behind me, that's the game. You just see the game that you're playing. So it looks really cool. It's getting really popular. It's not as popular on Twitch, but that's where it started. But all of the Facebook gamers and the Facebook gaming, they're all mostly using this green screen look. And the one thing that it does do is if you're lazy and you haven't cleaned your desk, like I always have to straighten everything up. I did straighten everything up, but I wasn't going to, but I did anyway because my desk was becoming a disaster. But you wouldn't know it. But if I'm not using a green screen, you would know if my desk was cluttered because you would see all the stuff, that I always have to move out of the way and straighten up. Okay, send it on Facebook, Travman. That'll work. You guys, I do want to say really quick, though, that you guys that send me stuff in Messenger on Facebook, I don't check that thing but maybe once or twice a week. And I literally get people calling me through Facebook. I get people messaging me through Facebook, and I may not ever see that message. I get 20, 30, 40 messages a day sometimes through Facebook Messenger. Just random people, just sending, even people that aren't on my friends list. Even people insulting me, telling me that I'm a prejudiced a-hole, and it's funny. And then I'll look, and they're not even, I don't even know who they are. Yeah, it's something I'm learning, Matilda. I didn't know how to do the green screen, and I decided yesterday I was going to figure it out. So I was going to figure the sound out and the green screen. And the funny thing is I've had more luck learning the green screen than I did sound. And I've been doing sound since 2014 for podcasts and still haven't figured it out completely. All right, guys, I'm rambling. Let me get off here. Thank you so much again for stopping in. And you guys have a beautiful weekend. And stay safe. Matilda, stay safe up there. I'm actually going to keep a closer eye on your fire up there in the Sousa, so I can have an idea how you're doing up there. All righty, guys, and that is going to do it for the Friday show. I'm going to a birthday party tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to. It's actually a kid's birthday party, but I'm gonna actually drink some Coronas. Oh my God! I actually added some more screens here, so now I can't find my ending screen. I'm still gonna get a stream deck at some point, but anyway, peace out, guys. Have a great weekend. We will see some of you, hopefully all of you, back here Monday at 7 p.m.
Thank you for listening to the American Nomad Podcast. Until next time, keep looking up because that's where it all is.